Welcome to Jen Cares Live Talks powered by Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors, the show that brings the community to you Mondays at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Here we engage in tough talks and meaningful conversations, featuring guests that help us stay in the know. If you're watching on Facebook, be sure to like and follow our page. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to subscribe to never miss a show. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Well, good evening and welcome back to Jen Cares, powered by Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors. We are so excited to be back here again. I am Jennifer Harris, the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, encourage, and strengthen individuals and families. And I do thank each and every one of you for tuning in as we enjoy bringing the community to you. We love tough talks and meaningful conversations. So we thank you for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and share because we're going to have some good things going on. I first do want to share one of our promotions from one of our sponsors. Let me get together. Okay, hold on. All right, here we go. Swag Her is telling you to step into the spotlight where visibility meets intention. So they have a Swag Her Society that they are encouraging you to join. I'm encouraging you to enjoy, okay? Swag Her is a visibility society membership for intentional Black women ready to be seen, supported, and celebrated. So I encourage you to join the movement. Whether you join as a as a member of the Grow Package, you can enjoy access to exclusive resources and conversations that celebrate Black womanhood, visibility, and wholeness. As a Rise member, you'll get everything included in that Grow Package. You also get access to community access, all digital issues of Swag Her Magazine, the Swag Her Playbook, inspiring podcasts, and lifestyle newsletters. They also have a Thrive package where you'll receive everything in the Grow and Rise packages, along with community access that all digital issues of Swag Her Playbook, podcast, lifestyles newsletter, but also exclusive spotlight opportunities, plus elevated experiences designed to expand your reach, refine your voice, and connect you with powerful circles. These packages range from $10 to $60 a month. Baby, come and step into visibility with features, spotlights, and opportunities that elevate your voice and showcase your brilliance today. All right, so y'all go ahead and check us out at swaghersociety.com. They're doing some amazing things. Your visibility isn't just a goal, it's your power. So build your brand with intention and get seen, get featured with Swag Her Magazine. I also want to share Chosen Counselors. We always going to throw that out there. It's hoodie season. We're trying to get y'all ready. So go ahead and pick up your I Don't Have the Capacity hoodie. Our new drop, check on your friends. I got that in a black on black. It's very nice, friends. Y'all should get one. Okay. And we also have our limited tee. Let me ask God first. I got to remind myself to do that sometimes. All right. Let's get into our episode. Tonight, we have the amazing Katrina Pratt Roebuck, and I'm so excited because we're going to talk about Uplifme. And the holidays are coming, and sometimes we can get sad. The year is coming to an end. Where did the time go? But we're going to talk all things of Uplifme. So help me welcome the amazing Katrina.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
We thank you for joining us. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, thank you.
Good. Here at Jen Cares, we always start with a quote of the day. Today's quote of the day is, asking for help is a sign of strength. Be brave enough to do it. Mm-hmm. Again, asking for help is a sign of strength. Be brave enough to do it. What are your thoughts on that quote?
I think that's probably one of the very key lessons that I teach folks to combat burnout. When I am working with public health social work professionals, it's sort of a very, intense job that every single day you are asked to try to accomplish the insurmountable. And so asking for help is really about recognizing your own humanness and limitations in terms of physical wellness and well-being, and that those limitations aren't a negative. You're a human and you're made to do a certain amount and then rest. And so asking for help is about recognizing and honoring your humanness.
recognizing and honoring your humanness. And it's the simple things like we could tell so many other people to do those things and we forget about ourselves. But we have to recognize our humanness as well. We can't do everything. We got to take a break. We got to sit down because burnout is real.
Burnout absolutely is real, and I've experienced it a number of times.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about having experienced it is that when I talk to other public health, social work professionals from an experiential standpoint, I can
Mm-hmm.
relate to it and talk about how it feels and how have traveled from being constantly burned out to falling in a place in which I'm able to have agency over my.
I like it. Can we sit here for a second? Because the holidays are upon us, right? And people about to have friends, enemies, and loved ones, and family, and loved ones, and all that over. How would we be able to prepare ourselves to not be burned out when our Sue was asking, "You ain't had no kid yet, you ain't got no man yet," or grandma is saying whatever's coming out, and things of that sort. How can someone prep? Would you say for the holidays that are upon us?
Yeah, so that's a good question. I think that a couple of things come up for me. One is just like when I think about my day job
Mm-hmm.
and what I have to manage, delegate, get support with, I kind of think the same way about the holidays. And so my family hosts Christmas, and I don't try to cook every dish. I mean, it's just not possible or not necessary to do
Mm,
everything. I
yes.
think sometimes we feel like that. Sometimes you just might want your own cooking, but the larger picture is having help is going to make the whole experience better for you, right?
Mhm,
So it doesn't matter even if you think I can do this thing better, that's at
mhm.
work or at home. Sometimes it's better because somebody else is helping, and that's good
Yeah.
enough. That's what I would say to that.
I'll never forget. There was a time we were doing an activity and we were budgeting and trying to work out the budget. And it was a group of us trying to come together. And at the end, it was like, "How did I feel?" I said, "I liked it. It wasn't just me. There's
Mhm.
something about having help and knowing that you don't have to do it all by yourself." But it goes to the quote. Sometimes we don't want to ask for help because of pride, or we ask for help and they didn't come through for us, or we ask for help and they just didn't do it right. And like you said, there's sometimes you want your own cooking because there's some things that you make that other people can't quite make. It's something
Right,
that you do there in egg and cheese that they
right,
don't quite do because they still use the box. And no hate on the box if that's what you do, right?
right.
But there are just some things that just resonate so different with you. But making those dishes, but not overwhelming yourself and knowing you got somebody else.
Yeah, I think that's so important. And I think that we in this culture
Mhm.
are told that, we should be able to do everything, or that's the goal, we should have
Mhm.
it all
Mhm.
together and we should be able to do everything. And I'm going to call, that's gaslighting. I think that's not true.
Mm.
It's not true. A lot of people that have a lot of things on the ball are also getting a lot of help. You just don't see the help,
Mhm.
right? You just don't
Mhm.
see the help. So
Mhm.
when we compare ourselves and don't know what the full picture is, that further harms us because we
Yeah.
think then we're inadequate. Right.
Ah.
So I think that's important. You brought up something else right before I answered the question about how do you deal with other people saying, oh, this or that's not going on in your life yet.
Mhm.
What I have found is home or on the job is confronting it in the beginning.
Mhm.
Hi,
Mhm.
Grandma. No, I don't have no kids or no husband yet, but I'm good. Nice
Yeah.
to see you.
Yes. I love it. I love it.
Just
I was
confront
just
it.
reading something the
Confront.
other day. I
Yeah.
love it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, take control of the thing. Don't
Mm-hmm.
be at the will of others mentally,
Mm-hmm.
psychologically with what they might do. And you got to brace yourself. And oh my God, take control of the narrative.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like that. I was watching this post on Instagram. It was talking about emotional intimacy and
Mhm.
how sometimes we let things slide and we let things go and we don't address things early. And then sometimes then we like, what in the world is going on? If we would have addressed it early, either they would have stopped it, they would have addressed it, they would have changed it, or we would have found out this is not for me. And
Mhm.
that's all types of relationships, friendships, jobs,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
whatever kind of agreements we get in. If we don't speak up for what it is that we need or
Mhm.
what's going to, keep our mood where we need to be, if we know grandma going to say it, so we already ready. Nah, not yet, grandma, just waiting on the Lord. Actually put me in your prayers, grandma, because obviously, Jesus didn't hear my prayers. I need you also on the battlefield with me, So, making a humor of it to not stress yourself because at the end of the day, they do want what's best for us. in my heart, I want to say, but sometimes you just don't want to hear it. So yes, addressing it, knocking it out real early is really important.
Yeah. And giving yourself grace, because if I am not a person that like says what I want to say in the moment, I always have to think about it, like, darn, I should have said this, right?
Mm-hmm.
But having grace, because it will come up again. Mm-hmm. So you're prepared the next time, right? Give yourself grace.
I like it. I like it. So Katrina, tell us about yourself. Who is Katrina?
So who am I? I am a person, human, trying to live and express my talents and goals and dreams. And at the end of the day, regardless of whatever the societal titles are, I just want to be light, I want to be love, and I want to be joy. So that's who I am. I work towards that. And I think that if I can be light, love, and joy, and I can give light, love, and joy, then that will be the fullest expression of myself.
So that's pretty heavy. Light, love, and joy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because in the world we live in, our light sometimes are mushed out, right? Or they're trying to mush it out. You're trying to give love, but it's so much hate. You're trying to give joy, but it's so much sadness. And you said of giving yourself grace. So how have you been able to successfully manage being that light, that love, that joy in this world?
Yeah. So I don't want to characterize myself as a success per se. I think success is a journey, and I think it's something we're always working on. And light has come out of darkness. I've been in spaces where I thought to myself, what do I need to do, or what do I need to be here? Mm-hmm. And it came to me, light came to me. It was not my own sort of direction about that in my mind. It came to me. I'm a spiritual person, so I feel as though God put it in my spirit that at some of the times I've been in places that were dark, and dark with other people, not just like a personal thing, but dark with other people. What can I do? And God said to me, be light. And so that's the first one. Love comes from anything that we do, in my opinion, that lights us up and that gives to others. And so love for me, Uplifme is expression of love, meaning that it is out of generosity, it's out of abundance, and it's out of helping people. So that's the love piece. And joy, I think that I heard somewhere it said your highest purpose is joy. And what I like about joy is I think that this is a culture that does not value that. We value productivity. We value accumulation. We value striving. And I also think that, in addition to love being something you can express through things that you do, I think it's fine to have for yourself joy. I don't think we're supposed to live joyless lives. Mm-hmm. I think we miss the point when we don't have joy. Mm-hmm. So those things have come to me over years. This is not like I woke up and was like, I want to be like love and joy. It has come through hardship. It has come through lessons. It has come through lots of spiritual revelations. Mm-hmm. That's sort of where I have ended today. And a few months prior to my 50th birthday, that's where I am at the moment.
Happy early birthday. Happy early. I like this. I appreciate the part of, again, highlighting that success is a journey and it's different for everybody. It looks different for everybody. But also that part of having that moment to really just sit with yourself to kind of figure out what's going on. What do I need? And things of that sort to identify, I need to be light. I want to be light. Mm-hmm. I want to share love. I want to give joy. Because oftentimes we're giving out those things that sometimes we didn't always get. Right? Or we did get it. And we want the whole world to also feel love, to also have light, to also have joy. Because it's such a great feeling. Yes, life be life in. Mm-hmm. But there are also some amazing parts. And it reminds me of the song of I Won't Complain, right? I've had some good days. I've had some weary hills to climb. But when I look around and think things over, all of my bad days, all my good days outweigh my bad days. I won't complain. Yeah? And what's happening is sometimes that one bad thing happens and we feel like, oh, it's the end of the world. and forgot about that great thing that just happened. I'm alive. I'm available to move. We take the little things for granted. It's like, I can try again to share some more light, to share some more joy. And in that, you have Uplifme, and that's totally cool. So let's get to that. How did that come about? How did you bring the name together? It's so cool how you did that. Let's talk about Uplifme. What is Uplifme?
Sure. So Uplifme is a resource platform that provides information to people on resources that address basic needs. So things like housing and food. It might also be a basic need to have legal assistance if you are a re-entering citizen, as example, from justice involvement. And so Uplifme is a resource platform. I started Uplift. I feel like I've been a resource connector my entire life. And that I literally mean my entire life. I remember being in pre-K and waking up early from nap so that I could get up and go to the back of the classroom and set up all the dials and set up all the things so that I was organizing everything for my friends that would wake up. So I have always been organizing and connecting for my entire life, and Uplifme represents all of the work that I've done in the 27 years that I've been in social services. I started off as a mental health case manager, and I saw that people just don't have access to resources. One of the things that people, I think about when they think about folks who are experiencing homelessness, as an example, is that it's just about a financial condition. And a lot of times and I find this to be more so true, it's about your safety net. So me and my husband, if we were to lose our house, we wouldn't go directly to the shelter. We have my family, we have his family. And so a lot of the things that people are judgmental about other people and what they have or don't have, are not taking into account at times those safety nets that they enjoy that would allow them not to fall into safety net systems. And so the resource coordination and platform really came from my work with vulnerable populations over the 27 years and seeing people that don't have those safety net systems, might not have the education level, might be fleeing domestic violence. There's a number of reasons that people find themselves in the situations that they're in. And so I noticed that, there's lots of resources, especially in Philadelphia, but my platform covers the entire country. Lots of resources, and people don't know about it. And so one of the things that I try to connect the dots with is being a person in social services. I would get lots of information, and that information doesn't go out to the general public. So I decided to create a central repository of that information that comes to me and lots of my colleagues that may not even do direct services anymore. I don't do direct services anymore. I manage programs. So that job flyer, that food giveaway, that resource or health fair, that coming to me before the platform was great. But it wasn't until I recognized that's what people need, is access to those resources. That's when I realized creating a central repository would make sense. The other thing I'll say about it is, because I've been in this field so long and managed lots of different programs, I know that lots of times it's hard to find out who is doing what. And when you find out what organization might be able to help you, you have to call, you might have a waiting list, the resource might be gone by that point. So the point of having resource events on Uplifme is that it's real-time information. So it's not stale information, it's something that is current on available resources. So if you go to a baby shower, you're going to walk away with diapers and formula. And it's in a consumable format. So if you're on the Uplifme website and you're scrolling, it scrolls just like social media does. And that's intentional because people consume social media easily, right? So if you scroll, it looks just like Instagram or Facebook when you're scrolling the resource flyers. And the reason I came up with the word Uplifme, or the title Uplifme, is because I have a friend who years ago said to me, I said to them, I was going to, start this business, and I was going to call it like community resources, connections, something else, like 3-4 words. And he said, oh, I'm so tired of all these long things. He was like, just have one word, just make it one word. He's like, Google's one word. They made up Google, right? And so I was like, And so then I thought uplift me, or uplift something. And then I was, searching names, and Uplift was in another name, not the me part, but another name. And I ended up landing on Uplifme because it felt like a positive word, and it conveys what I want to convey. And because one of my friends said to me, please don't make this business 4 or 5 different words. And I appreciate that he stopped me at that joint, because I was about to do that. So I like Uplifme a lot better.
You were for sure going to need an acronym, huh?
Yes. And we did not need any more of those. So yeah.
You're right, because we make up new ones every day. I like this, the power of having friends to be able to talk this out, to process this out. But also that safety net, right? A lot of us don't feel like we have a safety net. And I enjoy the piece of wanting to be able to share resources, background in social work as well, because I feel like people needed to be connected with resources. However, the challenge that we have once we have those resources, once we have shared them, people not going, right? Or they did get it too late. But the main part is really people not going. What are some words of encouragement to those that do need the support, that's not grabbing hold to said support that is freely out here for us? We're leaving money on the table of programs that want to give it to you. But what's the main barrier you find that's causing them to not go ahead and take it?
So 2 things come up for me. One is I used to be in charge of a rental assistance program that helped folks prevent evictions, impending evictions with back payment of rent. And when I took the program over, I noticed that all of the funds were not being used every year. And I said, we have so many people coming to the shelters. It doesn't make sense that when you have prevention dollars that they're not used. So what I did was I created a flyer. This is like 10 years ago at this point. I created a flyer, and this was before social media was as big as it is now. And I sent the flyer to a centralized office that supports all of the faith-based organizations in Philadelphia. I sent it, and the person at that time who was over that office sent it out to all of the churches and mosques and just all the different religious facilities. And the money was spent up in a month as compared to 12 months. So the issue there was making people aware that the resource existed. And so the process of creating an informational flyer, of sending it to the right group of people that could disseminate it to people that touch thousands of people is what made that work. And so what I'll say is, I think that in terms of people not connecting to resources, I think there's a couple of things. I think one is utilizing systems like churches or others, even the school district, community schools, that's certainly a concept there, is using systems that have touches on people directly that they can get the information to that's relevant to them, right? So that's one thing. Recently, I've been going to a lot of resource events, and I find that some of them are just not well attended. So to your point around like connecting people, I think that that has to also be examined for what the event is doing to make it accessible. So if you're going to have an event on a Wednesday, a lot of people might work. They're not going to, if you have a shift job, you can't lose your hours. So if there's an event on a Wednesday, it might not be the right day or time for people to attend. Right? If you have an event somewhere that is not close to public transportation and people take cars, you're not going to walk 5 or 6 blocks with little children, or you're not going to just walk 5 or 6 blocks to get to this event, or have to take 2 or 3 connections of buses. So there's different things that I think that are important to consider for the opportunity itself be accessible, right? So it has to be held at a time that makes sense. It needs to be close to transportation, if that makes sense. And then the last thing I'll bring up, something I saw really recently, was a very successful community baby shower, was that the event was held indoors. So weather wasn't an issue. I've seen that be an issue. It was held right off of Broad Street. So transportation made sense. They were giving away pack and plays and car seats. So people were getting things that were really valuable and useful to them, right? And they fed people. So all the conditions, it's not a willy-nilly thing to put together an event and to assume people will come and all the resources will be utilized. It really has to be some intention around how to make a resource really accessible. So those are the things I've seen actually work.
I like that. Definitely being accessible. Shucks. We that do have cars, sometimes we get invited out. We can't find parking. And after 2 spins around the block, y'all have a good night. You hear? So it's the same for families that don't have, the means of that. And I would hate for some families to travel so far and then get lost because they can't find the place, or whatever happens with that. I work with overseeing enrollment for pre-K, and we started a family corner. And my heart was, because there's so many resources, right? And we have so many centers under our eyes that we want to be able to connect with all the families to share a lot of things that's going on in Philly. So I'm so excited that I connected, because it's something that I now want to add into our family corner of sharing this ongoing resource for families. With the shutdown with SNAP, there were some services, but again, sometimes it doesn't get to the family. It gets to some people and it stops there. We got to push it out to the people. So we make sure that we sent it out to those families, and the hope is that they were able to connect as they needed, or at least have that resource as a backup if needed in the future. I appreciate that you have real-time data, because that's a big one. You'll go to somebody's website and you'll be like, this is over. And you don't go back again, and you lose people in that. So thank you for your diligence to make sure that you're seeing in real time.
Yeah, that's the thing that I did not see in terms of presentation of resources in other formats. There's a lot of websites that show a lot of information, like United Way 211, Find Help, which years and years ago was Aunt Bertha. And I say that it's not an either or, it's a both and. You can search for information by zip code and Find Help. You can search for information by zip code and resource itself. And you 211. So I think that the more people are aware of the resource platforms, the better. And especially, in addition to that, equally important in my mind is those public health and social work professionals, because they're touching, dozens of households. So if they know that they have families that have a goal within their case plans of getting a job in a certain period of time, for them to know that there are job fairs available makes that accessible to those households as well.
I love it. So, friends, I'm going to take a pause for the calls for a second, because Katrina shared that it's not just the Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area. It's really the whole world, United States of America, right? So if you know a program that has some services, they can share their resources so that she can share them. But if you know somebody that needs set of resources, direct them there as well. So it's a two-way street. People that can offer and give out the services that's needed, and people that need the services can go to our website, upliftme.com, to be able to share and obtain what they need. My next thing, some of y'all go to church. We talked about that, or somebody that does go to church, share it with their community programs, because again, trying to get the information out. A lot of times people go to churches and need support, but sometimes there's so many people, they might not be able to support all the people. So to have this overflow of resources to connect with, sounds like a win. So please, please, please do me a favor. Share this resource. And you can't say that we don't have it. You didn't know. We're telling you about it today. And if you can, 6 degrees of separation. You tell one person to tell somebody else to tell somebody else. You're like, I can't help you, but I was listening to Jen Cares on Monday, November 17th at around 8:28. She told me to make sure I share this resources. So please, 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 share. Cool.
And I'm sorry. Was someone going to ask a question? Can I just share one more thing about it? What I didn't say earlier is an important feature is that all of the resources are free to people. And then as well, equally to that, any resource that is posted is free to post. Folks can go on the website. There's no login or password. You can search freely. The only resources that may cost money are the ones that are for social service professionals themselves. And that has to do with like continuing education credits as an example. And that would be through whatever organization is supplying that training. But I didn't want to put anything on the website that may even have costed $1, because that could be a barrier for someone. So really wanted to just highlight that everything on the website is free and accessible to everybody.
Let's talk about the barriers to people. $1. You're like, $1? Yes, $1, because my funds are budgeted for what they're budgeted for, right? And we get one thing covered and then something else happens. We've all experienced that. Just you paid off one thing, it's like, whew, I could breathe. And then something else is like ding, ding, ding. The car is like ding, ding, ding. Or something in the house is like, like, what in the world is going on? these resources are available to us, right? So you want to connect with them. And that's the blessing of them being free. A lot of programs apply for grants, a lot of programs get funded specifically for these services. And again, you got to spend those dollars. And if you just go and ask, you never know. You never know.
That's right.
Keisha, hey Keisha. She said, shout out to the United Way. Yes.
Absolutely.
That's everywhere as well. There are some services everywhere. But the thing is really just being able to ask. I can have a random conversation with someone and they say how they need something. It's sugar in my head. How can I find some resources for it? Let me go ahead and Google. Because just so you're savvy with Google doesn't mean they're savvy with Google. So it's okay for you to connect them with their service or direct them to Uplifme. That already has the resources laid out for you. You see what I did there? Come on, friend. So another thing you shared about was insecure housing, and that is a biggie. And as we're coming up again on these winter months, it's coming, and fall. I feel like it's fall. Winter is trying to say who's out there as well. What are some supports, or how can people direct others to get support for insecure housing?
Sure. So I work with the Tenant Union Representative Network in Philadelphia. They are the ones that manage the eviction prevention hotline. They see about 6,000 or 7,000 households annually. They also provide rental assistance through various programs that are funded by offices like the Office of Homeless Services. And so one of the things that I have done with them is to help some of the folks that are housing insecure access resources that they needed once they found housing. So the Tenant Union Representative Network will help people find a apartment or a house, deal with the landlord move-in aspects of it. But then people move in and they need things like furniture. And sometimes they need to be connected to more stable employment. Maybe they have some employment, but it's not enough. People want to go back to school. People want to connect to family and friends. People, if they have behavioral health challenges, whether it be substance use or mental health challenges, they want to stay engaged in resources so that they continue an upward trajectory. And so that's where I come in and I help people. So I've helped people once they've moved into their units, get furniture, even laptops. One of the things that I say now in different conversations around social determinants of health is I think technology is the most important social determinant of health because that's how everyone accesses everything now. If you don't have access to a computer and the internet, there's a lot of resources you won't be made aware of. We know from the pandemic that people who had hybrid opportunities were able to be safer, right? Because they were able to work from the safety and the isolation, if you will, away from the public. So they did not need to get exposed to the virus. And so that was a privilege. And so when you have a computer and you have access to the internet, you have access to telehealth appointments, to hybrid jobs, to talking to someone across the country that you wouldn't have necessarily before. So the resources that I help Tenant Union Representative Network to support in housing are the resources that help those folks stay housed and help them to continue to move forward and stabilize in their housing.
That helps them to stay housed. I was sharing with others how, ways are made for us to have things, but we have to do our part to maintain those things, right? If we can't maintain them, reaching out to get the support that we need, budgeting, because sometimes we get a couple dollars and we'll be excited, and it's funny, I was watching a movie, it just came out on Lifetime, Airborne Vicky. I had not been paying attention fully. I had to watch it again. But there was a scene where the guy is a teacher and he's in a class and it's like, you got $3,000. You're going on a trip. This is how much it costs for the plane. This is how much it costs for a hotel. And I said, where was he at when I was in school? Because we didn't always learn those things, right? But these programs help you to maintain what it is that you got so you don't feel like I'm just going to mess up again. No, we got some resources in place for you now. We're going to help you budget this thing out. We're going to help you connect with another resource, and a lot of companies, the electric company, water company, gas company, offer support where you can pay so much or get on plans. Now, please don't play with these people. Be on your plan and do what you're supposed to do. But there are resources out there if you just ask for their help.
Yeah, and I think as we're talking about this, what comes up for me is we think about in behavioral health services, we think about the need for integrated care. So that means looking at a person's physical health along with
Yeah.
their behavioral health, and we call it a whole person approach to health.
Mhm.
And what comes up for me is thinking about addressing the person's housing insecurity from a whole person health perspective. It
Mhm.
means all those other things. So we're
Mhm.
acknowledging that people are multifaceted and
Yeah.
might have a variety of needs, and addressing all of those things is really what the stabilizer is. It's not just one thing that a person can get and then everything else works out. So I think if we think about addressing social determinants of health or basic needs, however you'd like to describe it, we have to think of it from a whole person approach, right?
Yeah.
So you probably, if you're housing insecure, you probably are economically insecure. And if you're economically insecure, you're probably food insecure. And if you don't have any of those things, you probably, if you were moved into an apartment, would be sleeping on the floor because you don't have money for furniture. Right? So
Mhm.
when we think about a service to folks, we need to think about it in the context of their whole
Yeah.
selves
Mhm.
in order to help them to be successful.
Oh, that's so good. That's so good. Because, even children, when they come into school, it's one thing you'll see is like, oh, they just need to get supported with some food. But then you find out, oh, mom was stable employment. So it's always a domino effect. Something else that's causing this to happen, that caused that to happen, that caused that to happen. And when you have that conversation, you get all those avenues fixed by sitting at the table and open up.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's the perspective from helping people who are in a rental assistance program. And like I said, from the whole person social determinant of health perspective, we do talk about all of these things.
Mhm.
Um, but I've always talked about it in the context of the health outcomes.
Okay.
We know that people are stably housed, it improves their health outcomes, but I don't know that I've talked about, housing security and the other basic needs together, independent of the health
Mhm.
outcome, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. It's all
Yeah.
related and equally important, I think is the point I'm getting to with that.
Got you. Got you. Got you.
Yeah.
So you said that you're not just fulfilling things that sort of what's the furthest state out, or what are some of the other states that we have some resources for readily available?
Yeah. So literally out to Hawaii. So I
Um,
have resources in Washington State, California, Hawaii, Maine, Florida, Texas. So all across the United States. And then also I was fortunate to work with a woman from Senegal who started to put together resources there, and another woman from Warsaw, Poland. She started to put together resources. And so I'm hoping that this will be a website that can be used internationally where it makes
mhm,
sense.
mhm,
So other countries might have very different ways in which they deliver services to vulnerable populations. Some don't have a safety net at all.
mhm,
Some, the safety net is your family and friends if you have them, right? And some other countries, they take care of a lot of things for
mhm,
their folks, right? So they have universal health care.
mhm.
They have resources that support people who are housing insecure. So the context can be very different. It's interesting to see internationally how that is different as compared to the United States. But what I will say is that the cities that seem to have the most resources are the ones that are large cities have the highest poverty rates.
Mhm.
So you find lots of resources in places like Philadelphia, Baltimore, Chicago. Um,
Mhm.
and what I think I'd like to sort of point out, and I haven't done this overtly on the website, is there are things that work in certain parts of the country that I think people can borrow and use in
Mhm.
other parts of the country. There's a lot
Mhm.
of innovative things happening. There's a lot of people that just give out of the goodness of their hearts. I'm not talking about just organizations that are large. I'm talking about small organizations,
Mhm.
people that have started something with a dream to help people,
Yeah.
and they have their 501c3. And so there's sort of all ranges and sizes of organizations that help people across the country on the website.
I love it. I love it. Friends, you got somebody in Chicago, Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
California,
Mm-hmm.
Washington. Where y'all want to go? She got you covered. She got you covered. And that's so dope to have that one-stop shop for people to be able to come to get those resources or what it is that you need. So again, whatever city it is you're in, and if you did not hear your city, hint, hint, come on and send some resources or connect it so that people can get those resources. That's the amazing part is there's always a search feature, right? So when you go to the website, you can search to find what it is that you're looking for. If you're talking to somebody and you don't have the means to assist and help them because it's too much, that dollar is too much for you, there's a resource out there that can potentially help them. So you want to go to the website, upliftme.com, to be able to share. So friends, come on. This is nice. This is nice. Okay. So over at Gen Cares, we're also an advocate for addressing mental health. And I also acknowledge and respect coaching in that as you help others to reach their goals. And you're also a coach. Can we talk about that a little bit? How did you get into that?
Oh, sure. Yeah, thank you for asking. So I am an ICF certified coach. So that's the International Coaching Federation, certified coach. And I coach social service professionals. And so that is around their career goals. It might include some personal goals as well. But I want to make a distinction that executive coaching is not the same as therapy.
Yeah.
So folks are coming from, for executive coaching, it's really coming from a strengths-based perspective that people know all the things they need to know, but they might need support in sort of fleshing that out, having a thought partner, and uncover limiting beliefs. And I really love to help people uncover limiting beliefs. So the way that I got into it, it was really, it was not me. And what I mean by that is I had a meeting on my calendar one day at work, and I didn't know what it was. And I think it said executive coaching. I did not know what executive coaching was. I logged on that morning, 9:00, and I said, what is this? Why do y'all have me in this program? What is this? And is it a mistake? I got like 3 other meetings I need to do today. What's going on? And so they explained to me what it was. And I was like, who signed me up for this? And so the training person said, oh, we signed you up. We thought that you might be, you would be good at this. And I said, well, look at God. When I found out what this was about, I didn't sign myself up. I was hesitant to go.
Yes.
And it ended up being, I can tell you, this is one of the joys that I have is doing executive coaching. And it feels like a full circle moment for me. I started off as a mental health case manager. I thought I was going to be a clinician. I got really burned out, and I decided I did not want to do direct services. But the full circle moment for me is that I have this really rich and rewarding engagement with folks, helping them, not from a behavioral health perspective, just from a whole life perspective. And I really get a lot of joy out of that. So
I understand. So I went to school for therapy as well, and I definitely got burned out because my special self was doing it 6 days a week.
Oh, wow.
That's a lot.
That's
whether the session was held or not held, you have to get your mind ready for it. So I do more of the coaching as well, the life talks. I get in people's business, and then I mind my business, and then send them to somebody else to get in their business, But the same, just being able to support somebody. So I think it's so totally cool.
Yeah. And the other reason why I really enjoy it too is because now that I've been working for a long time, I've had the opportunity to support a lot of folks through their careers to get promoted. Some of them lead organizations. So I get to be a part of that. And I pride myself in helping people to develop. So it's like I said, it was a look at God moment because I had no idea what executive coaching was, and it just really was it was provided to me. So
and it's so cool. It's like a mentor of helping you, like thinking of a coach, like really helping you. You have the skills, but you're not quite sure which steps to take. So you have that person to help guide you, help you talk through, help you process to get to the other side of your victory. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I didn't know that so many people did executive coaching either. Not until I started doing it. And a lot of people that you see that, or I'll speak for myself, a lot of people that I've seen are very successful. It's like they had an executive coach. Now, mind you, they might have already, been a person that was going to be very successful in whatever they did, for sure. Having support, going back to that very part of the conversation of I need help, asking for help. When you have an executive coach, you have somebody that can help you through whatever it is. I have an executive coach as an executive coach, right? So it's just one of those things that I think pour into you and give you help.
And you need it. And you need it.
Good.
Because we start out saying like that burnout piece, not necessarily that you do it all. You got to have somebody to pour back into you to tell you, Katrina, sit down. Stop. Okay, you can do this, but no, don't do this because we'll burn ourselves out trying to help everybody. And we learned that last week of the breathe part of taking a pause, knowing who should be around, who shouldn't be around. To keep ourselves together.
That's a good one.
Oh, Dr. Odiana got us all together. Okay, so I like this comment here. Belinda said, this is so great. I'm so glad that you commented this, Sunshine. And then you followed up with what I was going to get to for you as well. I have a ministry at my church that assists people mostly as out of pocket. This info is good to know. Let's talk about this because there are a lot of people in ministries, and like you're doing the thing, God has blessed you to be able to be a blessing to the people. But there's some resources out here that can also support and assist you, where you ain't have to get a whole 100. You could have gave maybe 50 because somebody else helped out, and then you're making sure you're okay, right? So connecting with these resources or programs, connecting to partner with them, to have events. You never know by connecting with the resources that you got it. Go ahead, Katrina. You got this. This you.
Oh, yeah, no, I think you're funny. So yes, I think that, and I was just thinking about this recently too. I typically work with organizations, but some folks have been coming to me independently for help, and so I've been thinking about how I can make it affordable to people. And to your point, like sliding scales is what came up from you when you said that. But yeah, I definitely want to make this resource available and affordable to folks. And then also, there's folks that just they might be newer in their careers and they might not have any money. And so myself and other people that I know that are executive coaches will also do this work pro bono for folks very early in their careers, because this is about helping to develop someone. And every time I do a coaching session, I am poured into every time without fail.
Yeah.
So it is my pleasure to do that if I can do that pro bono at times. But I just want to make a note that all the people that I know are executive coaches really try to figure out how to make it accessible to people. And I try to do the same thing.
Gotcha. Now, I think this was twofold. One, yes, for the executive coach to get it. If you feel like you need a coach, go ahead and find out what your options are, how to pay that. But the other part is the resources that you were sharing. Sometimes people are doing stuff out of their pocket. What is the resource out here where they can get connected with?
So if there are resources that cost money, so I'll just use an example that I think is relevant here, like sliding scale services as an example. So there are some resources that, let's just say you are not Medicaid eligible. Set aside the politics that's happening right now. Let's just say, aside from that, you might just be slightly over income for Medicaid, but you're still not able to make the ends meet at the end of the month, right? So you still need some help. There are lots of organizations that will do sliding scale fees. So I would ask that up front. I wouldn't discount that a service is available to you or not based on the website. I would pick up the phone, have a phone call and say, hey, this particular service, if it's an outpatient service, as an example, is something I'd like to do. And I financially need some support. Do you guys provide a sliding scale? I can tell you also that there are some resources that I know folks who are BIPOC organizations, Black, Indigenous, people of color led organizations, might provide interventions that are not your traditional Medicaid billable services. And so therefore people are paying out of pocket for those services. But those services are so important because they meet those communities where there are for their experiences. And a lot of times when we're searching for resources and services, we need to have the safety to be our whole and authentic selves, right? And we need it to be something that resonates with our experience. And so if the services we're getting do not offer those two things, I've noticed a lot of times people won't even go and get service, and they need it. They might need someone to talk to, and they won't, because they don't feel, they may not feel comfortable if they don't feel as though they can be their whole selves and get resources in a way that they feel is dignified to receive them. So I say all of that to say that there are services that might not be covered by some sort of, Medicaid or other health insurance. And so I've seen these organizations also provide sliding scales to make resources available to people. So always ask. That was a very long-winded way to say always ask.
And the most important part of what you said was what you said last.
Always ask.
Say it again.
Always ask.
Because closed mouths really don't get fed, you know.
That's
I
exactly
always share that, you know, a baby is the only person that can get away with crying, fighting, all those things. They don't have the quite words yet. We have our words. We gotta use them, friends. That's the only way if you get some support. Like sometimes we can know from our friends if something's going on, but if that friend ain't paying attention, that friend ain't getting your signals. You gotta be able to verbally speak those things.
that
You
is very
gotta ask. You never know. So, in your years of experience, what has been most rewarding for you in all that you do?
so I feel very blessed that there's a lot of things that I've been able to be a part of that I am grateful that I've been able to be a part of. So some of the things, for example, when Hurricane Katrina hit New Orleans,
Mhm.
I was working for the city's homeless services at the time, and Mayor Street said, "We're going to open up our arms and welcome people from New Orleans. We're not going to leave folks stranded there with nothing." Excuse me. And so I was one of maybe 100 people in
Mhm.
various city agencies. We turned a school into really a shelter in 24 hours.
Mhm.
And we were up all night. This is when we had walkie-talkies and people were still using Blackberries. So that's how long ago this was. And before iPhones, there was no iPhone yet. And I remember when people started coming in that were coming from New Orleans, they were literally being picked up by helicopter out of water and from the
Mhm.
rooftops. And the people, as they were coming into the school and we were bringing them into the cafeteria, because the first thing we were going to do is feed them, people were still wet. That's
Mhm.
how recent it was. People were getting on planes and not knowing where they were even going. They were
Wow.
just getting on a plane, and he ended up in Philadelphia. What was rewarding, it was very hard, but what was rewarding was being in that space and being a part of the opportunity to provide
Mhm.
real-time assistance to people when they need it. Another experience that I was really proud of is when President Obama, in his first term, in the first couple of months of his first term, the country was like in a free fall.
Mhm.
People don't give enough credit to that man of how he stopped all these things in the free fall and stopped the collapse of a lot
Mhm.
of systems.
Mhm.
But in any event, one of the things he did in the stimulus funding was he provided rental assistance, or provided, it was called the Homeless Prevention Rapid Rehousing Program. So one of the things I'm really proud of is that my unit, we served over 5,000 households, leading
Mhm.
that effort. And the providers that we contracted with are the ones that did direct services, but we were able to organize a program and manage that program for 3 years. And HUD cited several of the different practices we had as best practices. And
Mhm.
you could not tell me that I was not working in the White House every day on
Right.
that. You could not tell me that I was not there. I was one of Barack Obama's staff. Okay. I was so
Mhm.
proud to be working on something that was so important and helping so many people. So I have a lot of pride and grateful to have been a part of those experiences. And then the last thing I'll say is I am proud to have been a part of individuals' experiences.
Mhm.
People that have said to me, this one gentleman said to me, I was working at Section 8 at the time, and he had an issue, and I took him into a conference room so he could talk to me confidentially, and then, connected him to whatever the resource it was. And years later, I saw him and he said, "Hi." He said, "You don't know me, do you?" I said, "No, I'm sorry. I'm not quite sure where we know each other from." He said, "I came into Section 8 and it was a very crowded waiting room. I was very upset and concerned about what was going on at the time." He's like, "And you took the time to take me into a conference room and you spoke to me with such grace and you were so
Mhm.
kind to me that made a difference." I'm very proud that I was able to meet him in that way, in that moment, right? And that's something that he remembered. And so
Mhm.
I feel like I have the gift of having a job, or have had jobs all through my career that
Mhm.
have been meaningful in those ways. That I've had that gift through my work.
I love it. Now, for our listeners who want to get involved, make a difference, how do they do that? Where do they start to get connected, to be able to share resources with you, and share to some people that go to church, and sometimes their events aren't always as attended as they would like. They have it free. Sometimes they come, sometimes they don't know still. How can they share that information with you?
I appreciate that. So anyone can go on the website and look and search and find resources and download resources, right? And so you have the website up there. So thank you for that. But if folks want to get in contact with me, there is an email there, info@upliftme.com. So you'll see that on the About page. If the website is listed there, and you can just send me an email, info@upliftme.com. And so what happens is organizations will send me their resource events. All of the resources that we post on the website, we post. So meaning no resources go onto the website before being vetted by us. So folks can send their resource events or send me questions. I'm happy to respond to individuals around questions as well, and then help people connect to the right resources that they need.
You just said some music to my ears. You vet the resources before sharing them, because you think that people wouldn't just randomly create stuff, but people do randomly create stuff, and some people want them, a goose trail. I appreciate that as well, and really making sure that the resources that you're giving is valid to the families that are trying to connect. That they're not wasting time, not wasting your time, not wasting space on your website and things of that sort. So pretty cool.
Yeah. All the resources that we post are from legitimate organizations. And like I said, nothing gets posted. We have to manually post. It's not an automatic posting. So everything gets reviewed before it's posted. And one other thing I want to say about the resources too, when people are trying to find resources, when you go on the website, everything happening across the country is what will come up. You can filter, however, by your city and state. And if it's some, like in this area in Pennsylvania, I think we have it for each of the counties, Philadelphia, Bucks, Delaware, example. Some other places we might not have it for every county. We might have, for instance, just Seattle and Washington. But you can search by your city and or state. And then you can search by, so that's one click, and then you can search by the resource you want. So say you want to find food resources in Seattle, you'd click Washington and you'd go to the food resource. So in no more than 2 clicks, you can find everything you need. And that's intentional, because making information accessible is also about taking away navigation barriers. You shouldn't have to be able to, well, I got to say this one word for this particular thing come up, or I need to know what I need to know before I get it, right? Like sometimes you don't know what you need or how to ask for it, right? So that's why when you go on the website, everything comes up and you could distill it down to, okay, let's see everything happening in Philadelphia this weekend. And you're like, you know what? I needed a job. I do need a different job. Oh, you know what? They have food, or they're giving away coats now. Like you see things that you wasn't even thinking about. And that is, and I mean, when I say there is abundance in what folks can get and will get. I must have posted 500 flyers on Thanksgiving resources. The loose ingredients, prepared meals, come and have a meal. And so connecting people to all of that, if you just go on to your city, you can see everything going on. So with Philadelphia, there's no limit to the amount of things I see being offered in Philadelphia. Truly.
So if there's no limit in Philly, I'm sure there's no limit in your city either. So it's really just important of sharing that resource. Like we said, depending on distance, sometimes they can't get there. So if it's 20 resources, at least 3 of them are in my neck of the woods. And I can get there, And then if you really like that, you're like, I'm going to go here and get a plate. Go here and get a plate. Now, friends, do what you do. Get your plate. All right?
Yeah, you could.
I got it. What is something that you want us to walk away with?
I think that what I'd like people to walk away with in thinking about my website and work is that there is a place where you can come and find an abundance of resources and an abundance of care. And the reason I say that is because when I get disappointed at what's happening in the world, I can tell you there's a woman in West Philadelphia, as an example, who cooks 25 dinners every Thursday and gives them out. There are a lot of good people in this world. We always have on our news, the negative things, the horrible things that are happening, and those things happen.
Yeah.
But one of the things that can pick me up in a minute is when I go and I see all of the resources and things people are doing to help out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I would want people to take away that there is lots of good in the world, and that if you need something, there probably is someone that can help you and provide it. And Uplifme is one of those places you can go and find help.
I love it. Friends, don't hesitate to reach out to Uplifme. They're doing some amazing things, not just in my city, but in your city too. You just have to go out and ask. Actually,
Yes.
all you gotta do is go to the website. And when you go to the website, you'll be able to pull it up for your city, your city. You got cousins in them in another state. You can pull up some resources for them to
It's
help
very
them get
true.
connected.
It's
You
very
can't
true.
get there, you can't travel, whatever. Pull up the Uplift. Let me put it back up. Pull up upliftme.com and you'll be able to share them a resource with them. All right. Oh, this is so good. I feel like I know you from somewhere else. Did you work with deeds and things?
Deeds and things.
Deeds, like what's it called when they with the house and it would
Oh,
be
oh, oh, oh. So yes, I've had so many different lives in city governments. I used to work at the Office of Housing Community Development, and so if
Mhm.
you think about deeds, I don't know if you're thinking about like recording deeds, but I did work in the housing and affordable
Gotcha.
housing. So I wonder if our paths crossed maybe
I
in that
think
kind
so.
of
A
work.
couple years ago, I had a day of empowerment,
Okay, okay, okay,
and I feel like I gotta find a. I'm gonna find a thing. I feel like it was your face. I'm gonna
okay,
see.
okay. It might have been. It might have been so like a resource fair kind of
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, yeah.
That's possible. I've definitely tabled over the
I
years,
see.
and
It's a
yes,
small world.
it is. It is. We
Small
probably know
world.
each other. We might have just one degree of separation, but I'm sure we've been in some of the same spaces.
Yes, I got. Oh, but I'm so excited for what it is that you're doing.
Thank you.
You for sure have a passion for your voice. It's so calm and soothing as you're talking and helping people. I do hope that a gazillion more doors continue to open of the resources of your heart really just trying to help somebody. So I appreciate you for doing it. It's not an easy task. That day when you took that person to the side to really have the conversation, some of us might have failed the test because we might not have felt like being bothered that day. But we got to always be conscious of how to be that light, how to be that love, how to be that joy. I'm walking away and grabbing it for myself too, as well. Hey, Ross, I love you, girl. She said this was excellent. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Thank you.
Belinda, any questions y'all have, be sure to drop them down. She said, are you related to Libby?
No, I don't know who Libby is. What's Libby's full name?
Look at us. Now we're trying to go down memory lane. Yes. I love it. Oh, this is so good. Again, I'm going to share, get your, I have your information. I'll be sure to share it on Family Corner with the families that we service in the
Thank you.
daycares in Philadelphia. Hey, Daphne, this is great information. Thank you again, friends. Be sure to follow Katrina. Uplift me at UPLIFME. All right, one word, no acronyms, no nothing. Shout out to her. But some great things are going on. I'm so appreciative again of you having this one-stop shop that people can come to in any city, any state to get the support that they need. So thank you. Keep on shining.
Thank you so much for having me, Jen. I really appreciate it.
Same. I hope you have a great evening
You too.
and a
Thank
great
you.
week. It's Monday.
Yes.
All right.
You too.
Talk to you soon.
Take care.
Oh, friends, I hope that you enjoyed on tonight. That was really good talking about those resources of Uplift Me. This is the wrong one. Let me see if I can fix it. There we go. Yes, I hope that you enjoyed talking to Katrina. That was so good. I really enjoyed myself. I'm going to be sharing these notes myself with some other people. I do want to just continue to share. Let me see. Anybody had a comment? Yeah. Okay. So I do want to share again. We are sponsored by Swag Her Magazine, and Swag Her is introducing their spotlight. Well, actually, they're on spotlight because they have the Swag Her Society. Okay. So, with this Swag Her Society, hold on, my screen is trying to not be nice to me. Here we go. With the Swag Her Society, it is inviting you to step into the spotlight where visibility meets intention. Swag Her is a visibility society membership for intentional Black women ready to be seen, supported, and celebrated. So I invite you to join the movement. You could be a part of the Grow Package. You could be a Rise member. You could be a Thrive Package member. But it's all about where that visibility meets intention. Your visibility isn't just a goal, it is your power, girlfriend. Build your brand with intention. Get seen, get featured with Swag Her Magazine. Oh, she did that. Let me go on tour and be an advertiser. You can Swag Her, y'all got that. Let's record it. All right, let me get myself together. Cool. So again, we are part of the Swag Her Society. They're doing some amazing things. Registration is like $10 a month up to $60 a month. But the things that you get are so cool. You get some exclusive resources. They celebrate Black womanhood. They help you to get visual, getting out there so people can see who you are. Again, be seen, be heard, okay? Be appreciated over here at Swag Her Magazine. So I'm excited to be a part of Swag Her Magazine and to be able to share the amazing things that they are doing. Fancy, I love you, girl. You're doing a great job. Be encouraged. Again, be a part. Showcase your brilliance today. Go right on to the website, swaghersociety.com, and you'll get to sign up. I'm going to add that into our resources. Every week after we have a guest, I do share some resources. You can go right to my Instagram, and in my bio, you will get the information to follow. Also want to share Chosen Counselors, because that's what we do. We help out people too. So it's hoodie season. So our hoodie, I don't have the capacity. Our newest hoodie, check on your friends. And then our limited tea, let me ask God first. Head on over to chosencounselors.com. We're doing some great things. And, a couple of years ago, I did a planner and journal. It was called Chosen for This. And it was received so well. Someone reached out to me the other day. And when I tell you, it really blessed my heart. She said, I wanted to get some more journals. I do have a couple left. And she said, I want to get I said, you know what? I'm actually working on another one. Check it out. Boss Girl Planner and Journals coming out next month. I am so excited about that. Y'all, I done became a whole model for my own self. I just cartoonize my pictures. But it's the Boss Girl Planner and Journal. And I'm so excited about it. It will launch this December. It is in honor of my mom in the black and white. Out on black and white tonight. So I'm so excited for that. Be sure to join us on our next episode on Monday, December 8th. We're doing an annual review. I'm bringing my girl, Coach Janae. We're going to have a good time. We work together doing some anger management. So we're going to talk about some anger, how we survived this year, and how we're going to keep on going in this thing called life. I do appreciate each and every one of you for joining us tonight. Don't forget our quote of the day. Asking for help is a sign of strength. Be brave enough to do it. Again, asking for help is a sign of strength, friend. Be brave enough to do it. Why? Because I believe in you. You don't have to do it by yourself. I do love and appreciate each and every one of you for tuning in, for coming back again. May you have an amazing week. Until next time, good night.
Thanks for joining Jen Cares this week. Special thanks to our sponsors, Swag Her Magazine and Chosen Counselors, guests, and viewers. Such a good conversation. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you found value in today's show, we'd appreciate your sharing it with a friend and dropping a comment down below. Until next time.